Hello, what's up guys, Medium Guy here. Welcome to the next video in the Caddy video series. So in this video we're going to surf through a module that we can implement externally to our official Caddy image to actually use the Docker containers as our Upstream servers in our Caddy server. So if you want to learn more, stick with me. So as you can see right over here, I'm in the Caddy Docker Upstreams repository, and right over here you can find some detailed documentations about how you can actually compile and configure this module in your Caddy server image. And down right over here you can find some basic syntax, how you can actually configure your Caddyfile. And next, down right over here you can find some labels that you should actually add to your Docker containers for the containers that you want to be configured as your Upstream servers in your Caddy server. So some of these labels are required and some are optional, and by passing each of these labels you can actually configure different things in this exact module. So having all this in mind, I'll move to the VS Code right over here. You can see that I've got some files and configurations and stuff that I've prepared in order to demonstrate how all this will work. So I'll put all these files and configurations in my GitHub repository, for which you can find the relevant link down in the description section of this video. So right over here you can see that I've got a Docker Compose file in which I've got 3 different services, and as you can see 2 of them are backend services and the other is the Caddy server that will actually proxy the requests to these 2 backend servers. So as you can see right over here in my backend services, I'm actually using an Echo server as a dummy HTTP server, so we can actually make requests and receive connections with the detail of whatever request that we actually made to this server. So right over here on the labels section, you can see that I'm actually passing 3 different labels to this exact container. One is the Caddy server HTTP enable, which I'm passing as true. The next one is the Upstream port, which I'm passing port 80, which is exactly the port that the Echo server inside the container will be actually listening on. So next, right over here, I've got the host, and I'm passing the name that I eventually want to be addressing the Caddy server, which I'll expect to proxy the requests to this exact instance of my backend service. So next, down right over here, I've got the exact same thing with exact same configurations, but the value for the host label is different. So actually, I'll expect when I make requests to this exact name, so eventually my requests should be proxied to the instance 2 of the Echo server. So I'll move down right over here. I've got my Caddy service that I'm actually using an image that I'll be creating shortly with my custom modules integrated in it. So I'm passing the restore policy to tell the Docker engine to actually try to restart this container by whatever reason that it might be stuck in the stopped status. And right over here I'm passing the time zone environment variable inside the Caddy container to actually set the time zone of the container that will be created. And right over here on the port section, I'm passing the port 80 and 443 to inside the container, which are the exact ports that I'll later try to configure the Caddy server that will be running inside the container. So as a result, the clients will use the host machine's IP address with these 2 exact ports in order to communicate with the Caddy server that will be running inside the Docker container. So this port right over here is extra, and right over here I've got the volume section, and as you can see I'm passing the ./Caddyfile that is exactly next to my Docker Compose file to this exact address inside the container. So this will be the file that the Caddy server will be looking at when coming up in order to initially configure itself. So I'm persisting the /data and /config inside the container, which are exactly the directories that the Caddy server will try to use in order to store its data and any configurations that it might create. And lastly, right over here I'm passing the /var run docker.suck file to the exact same address inside the container. So the Docker Upstream module will be using this exact file in order to communicate with the Docker engine and, like, for example, grab all the containers that will have the labels that we configured, and we actually want those containers to be used as our Upstream servers in our Caddy server. So if you don't pass this exact file inside the container, the Docker Upstreams module won't be actually functioning as you're expecting. Next, I'll move to the Docker file right over here, and as you can see, by using the Caddy's builder image, I'm actually able to use the xcaddy build command, and I'll pass the --with with the exact address of this module. So as a result, a new Caddy binary file will be created, including this module inside it. So next, I'll use the official Caddy image and copy the Caddy binary file from the builder image to this image right over here. So as a result, my final Caddy binary file will hold this exact module inside it, and I should be good to use the directives and functionalities that are added by this module in my Caddy file. So before anything, I'll move to the terminal, I'll hit ls, and by passing docker build -t in order to pass a name and a tag for my newly creating image, and I'll move back to the Docker Compose file right over here, and I'll grab the name from the image right over here, and I'll pass dot as the context to my docker build command, and as a result, a new Caddy image will be created, including the Docker Upstreams module inside it. So because I have already built this image, I'll hit Ctrl+C, but for you it might take some minutes in order to grab all the dependencies and all the requirements that it needs in order to build your custom image. So I'll say docker images, and I'll grab this exact name, I'll hit enter, and you can see that I've got my images built, and actually I'll be pushing this exact image to the Docker Hub, and you can actually pull this image and do not build it for yourself. So now that I have my Docker image, I'll move back to the VS Code right over here, and next I'll try to move to the Caddyfile, and right over here you can see that in the global section I'm actually turning off the automatic redirect from the HTTP to HTTPS. So as a result, the clients will be able to make requests also to the HTTP port, and right over here you can see that I'm defining the exact same names that I provided in my Docker Compose file on the label section for my backend services. So actually Caddy will be expecting this exact name from the requests that will be sent by the clients. So if the client makes any requests to this exact address right over here, it will then proxy the requests dynamically to the Docker Upstream containers, doing exactly the same for the other name that we actually configured on the label section for the second echo server. So now that I have my Caddy file prepared, I'll move back to the terminal right over here, and if I say docker compose up-d, I should be able to see both my echo server containers plus my Caddy container are being created, attaching to a network that will be shared among all these three containers. So I'll say docker compose ps, and I can make sure that all my containers are up and running with the exact same ports that I mapped in the docker compose file to the inside the containers. So I'll say docker compose logs -f to follow the logs, and --tail 100 to grab the latest 100 lines of the outputted logs of these three containers. So as you can see, things are looking good, and right now I should be able to make requests to this Caddy server. So I'll move to another terminal right over here. By using curl, I'll try to make a request to the address of the first echo server, and if I hit enter, I should be able to receive some responses from the first echo server. And if I move back to the logs right over here, you can see that the first backend instance is actually responding to the requests. So I can make sure that if I make requests to this exact address right over here, it will be then proxied to the first instance of the echo server as I configured in my label section in the Docker Compose file. So doing exactly the same for the second address, I'll hit enter, and again you can see that I'm receiving some responses from one of those backend servers. And if I move back to the logs, you can see that it is the second instance that is responding to my requests made using the exact name that we configured in the label section for the second echo server. So that's all for this video. I hope you learned something new in this one. If you have any questions, any recommendations, of course go ahead and ask me in the comment section down below. And if you haven't watched the previous videos, I recommend you give a visit where you can learn some basics about reverse proxying and cool features like rate limiting, load balancing, API key authentication, and cool stuff like that. So if you find it interesting, you can find the relevant link to the playlist down in the description section also. So lastly, if you found the video useful, don't forget to give a like and subscribe to my channel, which will help grow the channel and motivate me to create more free contents like this. And with that, that's all for this video, and I hope to see you in the next videos.